This is Yochi Eisner, and I am the Kallah Whisperer, and I love listening to Weddings Know-How.
You're listening to Kizzy Nakwacha on Weddings Know-How, my favourite.
Well, thanks for tuning in to Weddings Know-How. I'm Kizzy Nakwacha, editor of Weddings Know-How magazine. Yes, that internet phenomena that has grown to such proportions that we may need to name a country after this online publication that brings you advice, information and tips from the people who know about weddings. And today I'm talking to a woman who owns a company called the Kallah Whisperer. Now, being an erudite and intellectual sort that I am, I obviously Googled the Kallah Whisperer, and when I found out what it meant, I thought, yep, that kind of fits her. Now, Yochi Eisner is in Israel, and I want her to tell you what the company is, what it does, and why she does it. Yochi, it's fantastic having you on the show.
Kizzy, thanks so much for this opportunity. First of all, to introduce myself and what I do to all our friends out there in Blogland.
Please do. Now, the Kallah Whisperer.
Yep.
I know what it is, but you tell our listeners, what is the Kallah Whisperer? Why did you call it the Kallah Whisperer, and what do you do?
Okay, so first of all, Kallah means bride in both Hebrew and Yiddish. And what I really do is just like you have a horse whisperer and all these people that really help very specific needs, I really am the Kallah Whisperer. I'm a professional makeup artist and hairstylist, and I work with brides and bridal parties throughout Israel. I travel to their homes and I provide every single beauty service that they need before the wedding. I also talk to them. I make sure that they're comfortable and that I understand their needs, and I want to make sure that they're absolutely perfect for their weddings. That's the whole purpose. My whole thing is that the brides are always beautiful, but they're even more beautiful when they leave me and they go on to be married. I
love that. Brides are all beautiful, but they're even more beautiful after they've worked with you. That's fantastic. How did you get into this line of work?
That's pretty interesting. I've done many things throughout the years, but really the one thing that I've always wanted to do was hair and makeup. I didn't start like most the gals do when they're very young. I've been many things. I've even worked in high tech for years. But one day the opportunity showed itself, and I said, that's it. I'm going to what I really enjoy and what I really love. And my first love actually is the smell of hairspray. And yes.
The smell of hairspray?
The smell of hairspray. If you don't know that smell, obviously, you haven't been in a beauty salon in a while. I just love the smell of hair products. I've always loved makeup. And I studied hard, and I still take courses. Obviously, we're always learning. We're always improving ourselves. And I started my business a few years ago after doing this on the side and helping people and always giving advice. And I think I started at a really great time today when we have blogs and the internet. There's so much information that I could share with other people as well as also learn from others. And so when I opened my business, I looked for that niche market, for the market that I could do the most good, that I could also enjoy the most. And there's nothing better than dealing with the happiest moment of every girl, every woman's life, and that's her wedding.
Do you like movies that have weddings in them?
I do.
Really, you do, don't you? Really, you do.
But actually, I take notes. I'm the one that looks and goes, oh, that's a great idea. I'm always stealing ideas, borrowing ideas from other people, always giving out the information. I have just a huge amount of information on my blog. I now put my information out there for everyone, and it could be everything from stories and traditions and customs to just those tips and tricks of the trade of makeup and hair that help people and ideas that, wow, I never thought of that before. The simple things, the easy things, not just the complicated, expensive ways of doing things, but the ways that every woman can do that they can feel better about themselves. It's just part of that whole of how I see and how I believe that a makeup artist and hairstylist should be and how they should treat their customers.
Well, that kind of just transcends smoothly into my next question, because I know that earlier you mentioned the fact that you wanted to find a niche for your business.
Right.
What differentiates the Kallah Whisperer from other makeup artists and hairstylists?
Well, first of all, I can tell you that the first and most foremost reason or the way that I'm differentiated from many other beauticians and makeup artists and hairstylists is that I have an eye for detail. And I look at I don't just look at the bride as makeup on her face or some sort of a hairstyle. I look at the entire bride. I ask the right questions. I ask questions even that nobody else will ask. When I think about the bride's makeup, I ask her about her wedding dress. I ask what kind of a wedding she's planning, so that I want to make sure that everything fits into that greater picture of it. If she's somebody that wants a very formal wedding, her makeup and her hairstyle should fit that kind of a look. If she's the kind that wants a simple on the beach wedding, it's a whole different kind of way of hairstyle. It demands different types of makeup, and I ask all those questions. Even when it comes to hairstyling, I ask her how tall the groom is, because if the groom is shorter than the bride, I don't want her to have this very high hairstyle that may make her look even taller than the groom.
And if I was thinking also, if he's incredibly tall and she's got a bald spot on her head, then no.
No. We take care of those things.
Okay.
But I'll even ask questions if she'll wear contacts or glasses, and I'm always thinking about how her look will translate on film, how it will look in the pictures, how it will look on video, the glare from the cameras. Is she having a wedding by day or in the evening? How is that going to translate into what she's going to need for her different looks during the wedding itself? And I also provide them with something that almost no one provides, and that's a blog full of information. I have my famous What to Bring to the Hall list, which is a long list of things from bobby pins and safety pins all the way to bringing an extra lipstick if they need, or a toothbrush. I have a very long list of things to bring. I also explain to them how to take off their makeup after the event, how to treat their hair after it's been teased and tortured with shampoo, with different types of hair products. So I really am there to give them absolutely all their information. And I also provide touch-up services during the event and also right afterwards for all their formal shots. So I really want to take care of them from the moment that they start to plan their wedding and their whole ceremony all the way through the actual ceremony itself, so that everything is picture perfect.
Picture perfect. I like that. We like picture perfect. And I know that you also mentioned about the questions you asked the brides, and on your blog,
right.
You talk about the questions the brides or the bride's mother, or sometimes even the groom, right. the questions that they ask and what it really means. I think one point you made, which I found really insightful, was the question that you'd often hear from a bride or a bride's mother, where she asks you, "Is this too much?"
Oh, totally.
Yeah, what does that mean? What it
is first of all, I'm dealing with the most sensitive areas of a person, their physicality. It's their face. Everybody looks at your face. Everybody looks at your hair, and sometimes they're worried that the look, even though the look fits the fact that it's a wedding, it fits the dress, it fits everything. Many of these gals are not used to wearing makeup or used to wearing a heavier makeup than they would on an everyday basis, and I have to sit with them and tell them that first of all, it's not too much for them. They're very worried about that. They don't want to look like clowns. They want to look improved. They want to feel good about themselves, but they don't want to feel that they're wearing a mask. And some part of it is explaining to them, and I explain to them even when I do a trial beauty session, that the makeup has to be a little bit heavier. It has to have a base on it that it's going to last for the 4, 5, 6 hours of their wedding. It can't be something that's going to just melt off or drip off in the middle. I have to make sure that their eye makeup doesn't make them look pale or doesn't make them look scary. I have to consider all the different parts of how the wedding is, even where the wedding will be, and how that's going to affect the makeup look. I try always to listen to the client and give her what she wants, but I have to walk that thin line between knowing what I have to give the photographer and what she's going to be seeing 5 years from now. I don't want her to say, "What was I thinking?" And that happens with some gals, but I want them to look at it and go, wow, not bad. It may be old fashioned in 10, 20 years from now, but the look will be classic. The look will be good. You know, girls also look online and they see these natural looks, in quotes, where they think they're not wearing any makeup. There's a lot of makeup there, and I explain that to them. I take them through these things. I try to manage their expectations as quickly as possible and as professionally as possible so that they feel good when they leave to go to the hall and while they're at their own wedding. I want them to feel absolutely beautiful and special.
Just listening to you, I can actually feel the passion and enthusiasm you have for what you do. It's amazing. I get the feeling that even if you weren't doing this for a living, you would do it anyway, wouldn't you?
Oh, totally. Isn't that funny? Yeah, but don't tell anyone. That's a terrible thing. No. I do this. It's true. It's absolutely true. I really love it. And someone, in fact, told me recently, I did a wedding about a week ago, and the mother of the bride looked at me suddenly and she says, "You're very lucky that you get to do something that you love and that's something that's beautiful." And suddenly it just dawned on her. She just had this look on her face of amazement that there are people that not only love what they do, but they do things that are beautiful. And she really, it was just funny the way she saw that. It was this incredible epiphany on her part.
Well, I can tell you that you're privileged to do what you do, because not only do you contribute to what is arguably the most important day in our lives, but you also make an impression on people and you bring out the very best in them for that one day. I mean, that's quite an achievement.
It is. Yeah, thank you. And I really feel that way. I really believe that what I do and what many other gals like me do is something that is important. It's not just to take this day very seriously and to make it as special as possible for everybody, for the entire bridal party, not just the bride, the groom, and, I agree.
Okay, well, one of the things that, one of the many things that people listening to Weddings Know How for is the tips and advice from the wedding professionals. And this is the part of the show where I ask you to reveal some of the secrets associated with your trade. And you've got to tell us, because that's the price of being on this show.
Absolutely.
You've got to tell us something. But let me ask you, Yochi, what are the most common problems associated with hair and beauty for weddings? And how would you solve them?
Okay, great. It's a great question, and I come across them almost every single wedding. The first one is hair. It's the care for your hair. Many brides, I think almost every bride wants to have long flowing hair for their wedding. And what happens is that many times they don't want to cut their hair. They want to have this long hair, and what they end up doing is really just having very long split ends. It's not good hair. They just have these long split ends that don't look good, that you can't really manage or create a beautiful hairstyle with. So I always tell the brides, the second that they come in contact with me, or I'd say on my blog, the second that they become engaged, they have to get themselves a good haircut or a good micro trim. They have to take care of their hair, let it grow as much as they can, and then this way their hair will be shiny, it'll be beautiful, it'll be as good as it possibly can, so that we can make a beautiful hairstyle. And that's one of my big tips. Another one is something that we talk about a lot just in general, but it's even more important for the bride, and that's the idea of her being kind to her skin, to drink plenty of water, to stay out of the sun, and to use a good skin cream. That doesn't mean spending a lot of money, but it means using a good cream that they put on their skin, and also to go to a cosmetician, somebody that she can discuss. My wedding date is within the next period of time, and to do things that will improve her skin. Not to use any sort of abrasive product, but she wants to have the skin of her face, especially her lips and eyes, to be as supple as possible. This way, when I do put the makeup on, or a makeup artist will put the makeup on, it will sit well on their skin. We won't have the bumps. We're not surgeons. We can only do the best that we can. But if the skin is supple and it's healthy, everything else looks beautiful. And I think another tip that I'm I try to tell every bride, and I try to talk to everybody that I know, is to take into consideration and to have a beauty trial session. You must sit down with your makeup artist and your hairstylist, or if it's the same person, in my case, that I do them both. And what we do is we go through absolutely everything that she wants. We try on different kind of makeup looks for her. We try on different hairstyles. Even if she's had this dream hairstyle and makeup since she was 5 years old, this is the time to experiment. Do it in advance. And this way, when we get that style and we know exactly what makeup and what hairstyle, we also know something even more important. We know the timetable for that day. The wedding day is an insane day of running and making sure that everything is done. But when I know that hair will take, let's just say, an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever that time period is, and I know that makeup will take an hour and a half, I know that I need a chunk of 6 hours, 3 hours, whatever that period of time is. I need that for the bride in order so that she can sit there calmly and gracefully. She'll have everything that she needs. I can then dress her, do a little touch-up, and then she can leave and be as calm as possible. Without those steps, you're always running around and you're always going to be late. When you do that beauty session, you're saving yourself a lot of time and a lot of aggravation on the day of the wedding when you do not need that. Preparation is always a good key. And those really are the most important things for me. Taking care of your hair, taking care of your skin, and having this beauty trial session in advance.
Fantastic. Now, that's very, very thoughtful. And I think for a lot of people, that's certainly going to strike a responsive chord. There's particularly the idea of spending time with your beautician and making sure that you give them plenty of time so you can experiment with what works well for them. Really, really valuable advice. Now, Yochi, if people want to get hold of you,
right,
if people want to find you so they can talk to you about the services that you offer, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Well, the easiest way, I believe, today is through Facebook. Everyone has Facebook. Everyone can go into Facebook. And so you just go into Facebook, and then you can search under the name Kallah Whisperer, KALLAHWHISPERER. Or, in essence, because of the way the search engine works in Facebook, the second that you put in the first word, KALLAH, you're already going to see me on that list. You can also just Google Kallah Whisperer. You'll find my blog. You'll find my Twitter. Everything is there. Today, on the Internet, everything is absolutely there. I have a website also. I have all the tools that somebody needs. I'm also thrilled to answer questions from anyone that wants to on any of the wide range of issues that I deal with when it comes to weddings, from the beauty tips to the hairstyling to different issues of wedding management, and even from the side of traditions and customs of Jewish weddings. Always happy to help anybody that has any questions, and just Google me and you'll find me. I'm there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I hope that this has been an interesting show for you. I know for me, it's been really informative. And after the interview's over, I'm going to send you a photograph of myself and ask if there's anything you can do with my hair, because it worries me, really. But, you know.
Kizzy, it was really great. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity. It was wonderful talking to you. And I hope that all our readers really enjoy this, and that we can continue on with these kinds of conversations and discussions between all of us and share our information and our knowledge.
Sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Yochi, for your time, and we look forward to hopefully speaking to you again on Weddings Know-How. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Kizzy Nakwacha on Weddings Know-How, my favourite.
Hi, I'm Laura C. George, the business coach for creatives, and today I'd like to talk to you about a new book that's out called Facebook for Business. In my chapter, The Relationship Builder in Facebook for Business, I answer all of your burning questions about how to use Facebook for Business, including things like how do you approach Facebook for Business, how do you get good attention instead of the bad attention on Facebook. I teach you how to stop wasting your time commenting all over your Facebook. I tell you why you shouldn't be looking for new followers on Facebook. Yeah, that's a big one. Sound crazy? You've got to read this chapter. I also tell you how the 80-20 rule applies to your posts and what exactly do you post. And then here's the kicker, my favorite part of the entire chapter. I teach you where to draw the line on how personal is too personal for Facebook. And I know that's a difficult one, and I'm going to teach you where you're supposed to draw it and how you're going to figure out what fits for you. And you're going to draw that line of how personal you're going to get on Facebook. So if you're interested, I would love it if you checked out Facebook for Business, the new book that's out. Again, I am Laura C. George, the business coach for creatives, and I hope you'll check out Facebook for Business.